Hey guys, what's going on? Megan here. All right, the best back exercises to maintain testosterone in fighters to keep a high testosterone to cortisol ratio, since obviously testosterone is so important in fighting ability. All right, let's get started. Let's start with pullovers, cable pullovers. Guys, I'm going to put this in semigo tier. It does not check all of the boxes to be even in usual tier, let alone broadly tier, right? Great exercise for hypertrophy, which, by the way, you guys are going to notice that a lot of the exercises here that are great for bodybuilding are going to rank low. Simply because as a fighter, you have completely different goals. Yes, you're obviously trying to increase muscle mass, but you also trying to increase strength, power. You want exercises that carry over to fighting. You obviously want movements that have a great cardio burden. Watch the first video where I explain the reason behind the rankings. But anyway, to keep this short, let's keep going. Next, you have, what do I have? Ronnie Coleman's back here. Guys, I made this tier list so long ago. I don't know if I can remember. But anyway, so you have chin-ups here. Let's use chin-ups. I'm going to put chin-ups at, believe it or not, in Kratos tier. As a fighter, this exercise should be in your routine. It checks so many of the boxes. One, it's a compound movement. Two, it utilizes your core a lot. Three, it's obviously functional. Now, I'm not going to say it's super functional because you're not really going to be doing that exact movement, right, in fighting, unless you're a wrestler or some shit. But even then, it's going to be rare. I'm not gonna put it higher because even on those metrics, it doesn't score as high. As far as the cardio burden, which by the way is also important because as a fighter, you can never. I repeat, as a fighter, you can never have, cardio that's not high enough. You constantly need to work on your cardio. I think it's one of the most underrated parts of fighting. Everyone prioritizes strength and power and technique, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but cardio is everything. And because you're never gonna have enough days to work on cardio, you want to hit two birds with one stone, right? You want to make sure that even when you're doing strength training, there's also a cardio component to it. But anyway, so I'm gonna put chin ups at Kratos tier. Next, you have T-bar rows, like Ronnie Coleman used to call them, right? The T-bar rows in the corner. This one is tricky. I'm gonna put it at Kratos tier as well, mainly because to be objective, it checks a lot of the boxes, right? It's a compound movement. You're gonna utilize some of your core, right? You're also gonna use your posterior chain. You're gonna use your lower back. You gotta stabilize yourself. There's a cardio component, obviously, if you go super heavy. Functional, you can argue that it is. Some consider it's not. In wrestling, it's definitely functional. So it really depends on your combat sport. So I'm gonna put that one at Kratos tier. Next, you have dumbbell pullovers. I believe that's pullovers, right? Yeah, that's pullovers. Guys, I'm gonna put this in Smigo tier. I'm sorry, man. I cannot put this one higher. It is not. It does not check most of the boxes, right? So good for hypertrophy, but for a fighter, you want to hit as many birds as possible with a one stone. With that one stone. All right, next I'm gonna use what's this one? Oh, Meadows roll. Meadows roll is actually a good movement. This is gonna shock a lot of people, but I'm actually gonna put Meadows roll in Kratos tier. Now hear me out, motherfuckers. I know you think, oh my god, what the fuck? One, remember, it's a compound movement, believe it or not, even though you're only using one arm. Guys, think about it. You're using your lats, you're using your mid back, your rhomboids, you bent over, so you're going to have some lower back activation. You got to brace yourself. You're obviously using biceps and real delts. Also, I mentioned in the other videos, as a fighter, you also want to use unilateral movements, right? Because when you actually fighting, pretty much you want to pick movements that carry over to your combat sport, right? When you're fighting, you're not going to have, when you're benching with a barbell, right? That's not realistic. That's not how people move. It's not how the human body moves, especially in a fighting scenario, right? So you want to be used, you want to make your body used to using unilateral movements, right? So one arm dumbbell press, one arm dumbbell, chest press, shoulder press, one arm rows, right? So those I'm always going to rank them higher. And I think I went into detail in one of the old videos on the fighting movements. Very underrated unilateral movement. So anyway, Meadows roll, definitely going to put it up there. And also the back is, the mid traps are so important for fighting. I feel like it's one of the most underrated parts, but I'm going for the change here. Next, we have bent over row. Actually, I'm going to come back to this one for a reason. Let's use inverted rows, right? For you calisthenics motherfuckers. Inverted rows, guys, I'm going to put that one at Francis Ngannou. The only reason I'm not putting lower is because it is somewhat of a compound movement. But I'm going to put it here because the loading potential is not there. Right. Remember, as a fighter, you want to maximize your strength to mass ratio, right? So you want to be as strong as possible for your weight, especially if you're going to be cutting down. By the way, this still also applies to street fights, right? It's not just for professional fighters. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna put that one at Francis Ngannou chair. It's not gonna go higher than that. Let's see. Next we have basic pull downs, guys. Again, Francis Ngannou chair. And the only reason why it's up there is because it checks some of the boxes, especially the fact that it's compound. But I'm not gonna put it higher because one, it's a machine. Not a big fan of machine movements for fighters unless it checks a lot of the other boxes that I went over. And obviously, you brace. There's too much help, right? You can't see it on the picture here, but you guys know what I'm talking about. If you're doing the seated pull downs, right? You're stabilizing yourself. It's a great stable movement for hypertrophy, but for fighters, like I said earlier, you actually want unstable movements. They're gonna have a huge carryover to your performance as well. Let's see, and that's why I said in the beginning, a lot of the movements that score high for hypertrophy are gonna score low for fighters. Mainly because if your sole goal is muscle growth, then you don't have to worry about stability and transfer / carryover to fighting, blah blah blah. Next, we have a wide grip pull up. Wide grip pull up. Again, I'm gonna put that one at Kratos tier. Very 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 important. Obviously, I'm not gonna put it higher for obvious reasons. I explained that earlier. Very very good movement. It should be in the arsenal almost every fighter. Next, you have behind the neck pull down. Again, I'm also gonna put that at Francis Ngannou tier. By the way, guys, I made a post about this, I think in Discord, in the school community, when I was working on this tier list, like, what was it? I think like 30 minutes ago or some shit. I got an ad that popped up, right? I was editing it. I had to change the name from I'm about to nut to, this right here. Because you guys know I can't really use the old tier list system anymore. I get demonetized every time. But I was organizing these pictures and I get a pop-up ad, which is weird because I have pop-up blockers. But anyway, I get a pop-up ad and it says, what was it? I posted a picture. It said, "Are you gay quiz?" I was like, did somebody hack my fucking computer? In fact, I'm going to try to, if I could find it, I'm going to put it on the screen. But actually, I don't have time to edit shit. So look in the Discord or in fact, I think I posted on the YouTube community as well. Just check it out. It was fucking hilarious. In all my years of making these tier lists, I've never had that happen. Yeah, it was literally a pop-up ad. It was one down here and one at the top right. And it was a "Am I gay" quiz. And it showed two niggas looking at each other like they're about to kiss. One of them looked foodie as hell. And I was like, why am I being shown this? First of all, I was so shocked because, first of all, why is there a "Am I gay" quiz? Like again, do gay niggas not know that they're gay? Like, what the hell? So anyway, I felt like somebody was trolling me. But anyway, back to the video. I go off tangents, man. Next, you have the rack pull. By the way, that's me. That's OG Megan right there. Okay, so let's see. Rack pull. I'm going to put, this one is tricky. So let's go one step at a time. Huge cardio burden, sort of, kind of, because you are using a lot of muscle mass. You're pretty much using your whole body. Low injury risk, fuck no. The injury risk is so high. In fact, I snapped my shit up so many times because I used to go so heavy on rack pulls back in the days. And this is like back in 2012, 2013, before they were even popular. And functional, sort of, kind of, I'm not going to give it the functional one because the carryover is not huge. Right? How often in the fight you're going to be rack pulling motherfuckers? So to be honest, guys, I'm going to put rack pull at, this one is tough because deadlifts score so high. Spoiler. Deadlift scores so high on this tier list. So with the rack pull, it's not really a deadlift. I'm going to put it at Unilateral tier. I want to put it at Kratos tier, but I'm going to put it at Unilateral tier, right? It's going to make you strong as fuck. It's obviously going to make your grip strong if you don't use, obviously, wrist straps, but then that defeats the purpose because you want to go as heavy as possible. This one is tough. And the fatigue, the CNS fatigue is also very high. So I'm just going to put a Unilateral tier for now. Might change my mind if I move the criteria around. Sucks because I'm so biased towards that movement. Fuck, I used to love rack pulls, guys. But I gotta be objective. Part of me refuses to leave it at Unilateral tier. Guys, okay, motherfuckers, it's between Kratos tier and Unilateral tier. I'll have to, It's so tricky because it checks some of the boxes, but then it also doesn't. You can make an argument for both. The injury risk, it definitely, it gets disqualified for that. The injury risk is very high, especially, the heavier you go. It is compound. Your core, it doesn't really use your core as much. Fuck it. I'll leave it in Unilateral tier. For now, bitch. All right, next we have the actual deadlift. Okay, so, guys, I'm going to put that one in Brawley tier. Oh, my God. Now, again, you could argue that the injury risk is high, but come on, guys, you could snap your shit up doing almost any exercise. But if you're a fighter, the deadlift has to be part of your arsenal, right? Compound movement utilizes your core, utilizes so much of your muscle mass. It is functional as shit, and obviously it has a huge cardio burden. Obviously, if you're doing high reps or a lot of sets, so it has to go in broadly tier. Next, we have a chest supported row. Again, I love this exercise. If this was a purely hypertrophy tier list, it would probably go in broadly tier. But because this is a fighter tier list, I'm going to put the chest supported row in, I'm going to put in usual tier. I'm actually, this one is tough. This one is tough, motherfuckers. It's tough because it's definitely compound movement. It has somewhat of a cardio component. It does have a low injury rate, so that's already 3 points so far, right? So it should at least be in usual tier. The problem is you're not utilizing your core, right? And I need you motherfuckers to use your core at all times if you are doing the combat sport or if you want to be a good fighter overall. So I'm just going to put that usual tier for now. Next we have the croc roll. So it's kind of like a one-arm roll, but you slightly up. It's a one-arm roll, but it's mainly for upper back. Very similar to the medals roll. Believe it or not, I'm going to put that one in Kratos tier for the same reason that I put the medals roll up there, right? Very, very important for your mid-back and rhomboids. Obviously, your mid-traps. You're going to use a lot of core. Trust me, even though you're bracing yourself with one hand, you're still going to be using your core. It's definitely functional. Injury risk is kind of high, but not super high compared to the other items there. And yeah, definitely in Kratos tier. Next, we have extensions. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to put hyperextensions somewhere in... I want to put it higher because your posterior chain is so important in fighting. But I got to be objective. I'm going to put this one in Smeagol tier. This one hurts. It hurts because I really want to put that one higher. But again, as a fighter, you want to focus on the criteria that I mentioned earlier. Next we have pull down, but I think this one is with the fucking V-bar. So again, I'm gonna put this one in Francis Ngannou tier, right? I don't like the fact that you stabilize. Again, that would be great for hypertrophy if that's your sole goal, but it doesn't check the other boxes. Next, we have the row. This time using a machine. Again, I'm also gonna put this one. I want to put this one in usual tier, up there with the chest supported row. I'm always going to give rows a slight advantage over pulling movements because, again, as a fighter, not only you're going to be engaging your lats doing the movement, but you're also going to be engaging your mid-traps and rhomboids. And like I said earlier in the video, mid-traps and rhomboids are so underrated in fighting, especially in grappling, but even in boxing as well. With pulling movements, you're hitting your lats and a little bit of mid-traps, whereas with rowing movements, you're hitting your lats and your mid-back, right? So I'm going to put that one, I want to put in usual tier so bad. If I put chest supported row up there, I'm going to have to put this one up there. All right, fine. I'll put it up there. I'll put that in usual tier. Next we have, and no, the reason why I'm not putting the inverted rows up there, because I can see you guys in the comment section. Well, Megan, you said you're going to bias rows more, so why is the inverted row there? Shut up. The inverted row is there because you can't really load it maximally, right? Eventually you're going to get to a point where it's so easy. And now you're going to have to just do a ton of high reps, which is not ideal for this scenario. Next, we have the Yates row. Yates row, again, I'm going to put that one at Kratos tier, right? I'm going to put it higher than these because those are too stable, whereas this one is unstable, which, like I said, is crucial for fighting performance as opposed to if sole hypertrophy was the goal. So I'm going to put that one up there, right? Compound movement utilizes your core somewhat functional. The injury risk it's a bit elevated, especially, with your biceps. And obviously it's, has a huge cardio burden, especially if you go heavy. Next, we have the seated cable row. Again, I'm going to put that one at usual tier for obvious reasons. Can't go higher than that because it is relatively more stable than these other movements. And obviously the other factors I mentioned earlier. Next, you have the machine pull down. Some places call it the high row, whatever. It's really a pull down on those Planet Fitness fuck-ass machines. I'm going to put that one at Francis Ngannou tier for obvious reasons. Next, you have the other version that Dorian Yates popularized. In fact, I don't want to give him that. He did popularize the years row, but not this one, right? It just he made it look so badass if you watch that DVD growing up. Anyway, so I'm gonna put that one. Same thing, Francis Ngannou tier. Next, you have the pullover, which is another exercise that he popularized. Funny enough, I promise you guys, this was by pure accident that there's so many Dorian Yates movements. I mean, he was the go to back training, right? Before Randy Coleman came along. So anyway, the Dorian Yates pullover. That pullover machine that I believe every gym still has, but for whatever reason, it's so hard to find. Anyway, I'm going to put that one at Francis Ngannou tier. I want to put in Smigo tier right next to the dumbbell pullover, but this one is tough. I want to put in Francis Ngannou tier, but then I got to be consistent, right? Because I did put the dumbbell version here. So fine, I'm going to put in Smigo tier, right? Try to avoid these isolation movements if you're a fighter. Next, we have, I think this one is the Penley row. Yeah, Penley row, where you count at 90 degrees to the ground. For fighters, this one is actually really fucking good. I'm going to put that one at Kratos tier. Next, we have the low row, right? That one I'm going to put at Yujiro tier, right? Very good for mid, back, and traps, but unfortunately, like I said, you are too stable. So it reduces how functional the movement is, and it also reduces the carryover to your sport. But it's amazing for pure hypertrophy and putting on mass on your back. This one was the Penley row. Let's see. Fuck it. We'll just leave that one as the Penley row. This one we'll just make it a basic bent over row. Same thing. Doesn't matter anyway because they're both going in Kratos tier. Great exercise for fighters. Next, we have the dumbbell row. The difference between this one and, hold on, there was another dumbbell row somewhere here. No, this one was the croc row, yeah. This is the actual dumbbell row, right? So remember, the croc row is more for, it biases your upper back more than your lats, right? Because also your elbows are at a 45-degree angle, whereas this one biases, well, based on his upright position, it's definitely going to hit his mid-back as well. But because his elbows are close to his body, it's going to be more lat, right, compared to the croc row. Anyway, I'm also going to put that one at Kratos tier, yes. And I don't know what the fuck these exercises. I think I'll just put a fucking picture of Ronnie Coleman's thick ass back. That's probably why they asked me if I was gay. Guys, Ronnie had the beastly upper back. But anyway, hope this video helps. Join the school community before price doubles. It's the best community for men trying to boost testosterone naturally. I post all of my stuff there. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.